Hello children, today we shall discuss about scope of economics. The monetary activities of the society fall within the scope of economics. Non-monetary activities, those activities which are not concerned with the acquisition, spending and distribution of wealth are not included in the scope of economics, like a mother's service to her child, father's service to his children, etc. are not economic activities. We shall discuss this scope of economics. In your book, it is written here in your book. First is consumption. The activities which lead to the satisfaction of our wants are known as consumption. No, the activities which lead to the satisfaction of our wants are known as consumption. Suppose I have 10 rupees note in my pocket, and I want to take a cup of tea because this time I want a cup of tea. Then if I get that cup of tea, and that will satisfy me, and then this situation can be called consumption. The laws governing consumption activities, consumers' equilibrium, etc. fall within the scope of economics. Another scope is production. Okay, we are discussing about the scope of economics. First is consumption, another is production. The creation of useful commodities or services is known as production. Besides the four factors of production, there are four factors of production. Okay, without these four factors, production is not possible: land, labor, capital and organization. The laws of production, producers' equilibrium, monetary system, etc. are discussed in economics. But here, besides these four factors, we will discuss about laws of production, producers' equilibrium, monetary system, etc. Then another is distribution. Consumption is possible only after the produced goods are distributed among the consumer. When produced goods producer has produced, and if that producer is not distributing that goods to the consumer, then that will not work. Understood? So the producer have to distribute that goods to the consumer. Okay, the laws and theories which are to be followed for the efficient distribution of goods and services are discussed in the study of distribution. Okay, another is exchange. No individual, region or country can produce all commodities that are required by them. Understood or not? Because suppose I want to produce everything, is it possible for me? Not possible. I cannot produce everything myself. I have to depend on others for a number of commodities. No? Therefore, in such a situation, exchange becomes necessary. So, in such a situation, exchange is necessary between individuals, regions and countries. Between individual regions or countries. This exchange takes place through internal and external trade. Both internal and international trade are discussed in economics. So in economics, we discuss internal trade and international trade also. In your book, at page number 33, two clips have been given. In those two clips are Junbil Mela affair that held every year in Morigao district of Assam. Okay, this fair is a very good example of barter system. Earlier, when money was not invented, at a time people used to exchange goods to goods, and such system at that time and still is known as barter system. And you can see this system in this Junbil Mela of Morigao district in Assam. There, the people who go to that Mela, they do not use even a single rupees for exchange. Okay, they exchange goods to goods. Another is that since the 15th century, people of the Karbi, Khasi, Tiwa, Jaintia and other tribes came to this fair to exchange goods produced by them. This fair is a symbol of brotherhood between the people of hills and plains of northeastern region of India. Okay, so if you sometime if you go to Morigao district during Magh Bihu, that means month of January, and you can see this Mela there. Okay, another is money. We shall discuss about money. The barter system of exchange had several shortcomings. When this barter system was prevalent in our society at that time, there was a number of drawbacks. The creation of money led to the removal of these difficulties and to the simplification of the process of exchange. Okay, after invention of money, barter system vanished from our society. The discussions on the role of money, its functions, types, etc. form an important part of the study of economics. We shall discuss about money, its types, its function, etc. in economics. Because money has different function, we shall discuss all those. As in your book, page number 34, you can see different countries' coin, that means currencies. Like as British, they use pound, China yuan, American dollar, Indian rupees, no, Japan yen, and Russia ruble. So they named their currency differently. As India we say rupees, rupiah. In America it is called dollar. So okay. Another is income. The study of per capita income, national income, its production and distribution, its relation with economic welfare fall within the scope of economics. Another is public finance. Public finance is the study of public revenue, public expenditure and public debt. It is an integral part of economics. Public finance is an integral part of economics. Welfare economics. Economics is not merely the study of consumption, production and distribution. The individual and collective welfare aspect of these activities will also have to be taken into account. Economists like A.C. Pegu, Alfredo Pareto, Hicks, Amartya Sen, etc. have popularized the concept of welfare economics. Okay, economics of environment. Another economics is the economics of environment. Environment means what? Our surrounding. The process of industrialization to facilitate rapid economic development, which has led to the breakdown of environmental equilibrium, has caused a great deal of concern among social scientists. The study of environment has been included in the subject matter of economics in order to find out ways to restore environment equilibrium. This incursion has led to the opening up of a new aspect in the scope of economics. Another is efficiency. The efficiency use of scarce resource to build society is the basic subject of economics. The efficient use of scarce resource to accelerate the process of production will lead to the increase of economic welfare. The topic mentioned above fall within the scope of economics, but we have to keep in mind that in today's dynamic world, the scope of any subject is never static. With time, the subject matter also becomes dynamic. That is the reason why the inclusion of new concept of global economics, sustainable development, etc. has led to the widening of the scope of economics. Okay, some fundamental concept of economics. Now we shall discuss some fundamental concept of economics. The meaning of some economic concept differ from those that are used in daily life. Some of these concepts are discussed here. We discuss here. Like first concept is the goods. Okay, goods. All commodities and services which can satisfy human wants are known as goods in economics. Okay, in actual sense, whenever we say good, that is another thing. Okay, but here goods means all commodities and services which can satisfy human wants are known as goods in economics. Goods can be categorized into tangible such as tables, chairs, houses, tools and implements, food, clothing, etc., and intangible such as the services of teachers, doctors, politicians, soldiers, lawyers, etc. Goods can also be categorized into free goods and economic goods. Free goods are the free gift of nature, such as the heat from the sun, that is free goods. For sunlight, heat of the sun, we do not need any money. Wind, that is also free goods. Rain, etc. In case of economic goods, the supply is less than demand. Economic goods, that means their supply is less than demand. That is why there is a price for such goods. For example, electricity, food, clothes, etc. are economic goods. Okay, that means goods in which we do not need to pay anything is known as free goods, and the goods which we need to pay something is known as economic goods. Okay, consumption goods satisfy our wants directly. Okay, but capital goods or producers goods are used for the purpose of production. Consumption goods are known as finished goods. Okay, capital goods or producers goods are used for purpose of production. Capital goods, okay, or producers goods are used for purpose of production, but and capital goods are known as intermediate goods. Okay, another is utility. Utility is another concept of economics. The power of any good or service to satisfy human wants is known as utility. Okay, the power of any goods or services to satisfy human wants is known as utility. Just as meal of rice or bread can satisfy the hunger of a feminized person, in the same way, the services of a doctor which cures a patient can satisfy him. Okay, the power of a good or service which can satisfy such human wants is known as utility. Another is wealth. All goods are not wealth. In order to be regarded as wealth, a good must possess the four characteristics of utility. Those are scarcity, transferability, and externality. These four quality, whenever one good has possessed these four qualities, then we can say that that is the wealth. Sunlight is abundant. The talent of Sachin Tendulkar or the patriotism of Mahatma Gandhi is non-transferable or external. That is why these are not regarded as wealth in economics. Food, clothes, furniture, coal, crude oil, etc. are regarded as wealth, as they possess all the four characteristics of wealth. According to economics, for a good to be regarded as wealth, it must be usable, valuable, and transferable from one person to another. Okay, another is wants. The desire for the satisfaction from a commodity is known as want. In other words, the necessity for the use of a commodity is called want. For example, in the hectic schedule of everyday life, the desire to listen to music to relieve oneself from stress can be termed as want. Food, clothes, and shelter are necessary for living. Till a person possesses all this, they can be termed as wants. Okay. Another is welfare. Welfare is of two types: economic welfare and non-economic welfare. Economic welfare is moral and social welfare, which cannot be measured with money. The welfare activities of parents for their children are example of non-economic welfare. Economics deals mainly with the discussion of economic welfare. In non-economic welfare are not discussed here. Like whenever you go to whenever your father will teach you, okay, suppose your father is a teacher, and if he teaches you, then that is not economic welfare, that is non-economic welfare. But when your father goes to teach some other student, that will be economic welfare, because at that time your father will take money as tuition fee from that student. That's why that will be regarded as economic welfare. But whenever your father will teach you, that is not the economic welfare. Okay, a mother's service to her baby is also not non-economic welfare activities, as I told you earlier also. Okay, the money value of any commodity is its price. Okay, like what is the price of your social science book, this economics book? That is the money value of that book. In other words, the exchange value of a commodity is its price. For example, the price of a book is rupees 75. The maximum retail price of a laptop computer is rupees 32,750, etc. These are what? Value of a commodity. Understood or not? These are the value of commodity. Okay, the desire of a consumer for a particular commodity can be termed as demand only if the desire is backed by the power to purchase it. If a beggar has the desire to purchase a car, it cannot be termed as demand. Understood or not? Because a beggar cannot purchase a car because he does not have the power to purchase it. The supply of goods may be lesser than the demand. For example, cars, potatoes, oil, pulses, rice, etc. The supply of car in Guwahati city is smaller in relation to demand. Understood? The part of the produced goods which are brought to the market for the purpose of selling is known as supplying our country. There is a supply department for supplying goods in the market. There is also a departmental minister. The Food Corporation of India is an organization which looks after matters relating to stock and supply of food in the country. Okay, another concept of economics is the market. What is that? Market. In normal language, market refers to a place where goods are brought and sold. That is normally. But in economics, market does not mean a particular place. In economics, market means an arrangement where buyers and sellers buy and sell goods directly or indirectly. Okay? So according to economics, there is different types of market. Suppose you go to Narangi market, that is market, normal market. Just you get a seller, and whatever you are going to purchase, you purchase from that person. Okay, that seller. That is normal market. But according to economics, we have to discuss about stock market, online market, and some other example of market like stock market, share markets, etc. And after that, online marketing. Nowadays, online trend of online marketing is going on, is not it? Online marketing is going on all over the world through Facebook, YouTube, Flickr, then Google, then that is called Snapdeal, Flipkart, etc. These all are what? Online marketing. So people do different types of marketing these days. Okay. Another concept is capital, the means or appliances with which help production are known as capital. In other words, that part of production which help in further production is known as capital. For example, a piece of land is capital for the production of food grains. A loom sewing machine and implements are capital for the production of cloth. Understood or not? Capital is needed for everything. Whenever we produce anything, we need capital first. Another is saving. The proportion of income which is not used for consumption is known as saving. Thus, income is equal to consumption expenditure plus savings. Okay, what is your income? Equal to consumption expenditure and then saving. Saving is a good means of capital formation. Another is investment. What another? Investment. When capital is used for the purpose of production, it is called investment. Okay, capital is a stock concept while investment is a flow concept. Capital is stock, okay, and investment is a flow concept. A lakh of rupees in the bank can be considered as capital. When this money is used to buy goods to set up a factory, it can be considered as investment. Understood? 1 lakh rupees, suppose one person has deposited that in the bank, that is what? That is capital. But whenever that 1 lakh rupees is used to set up one factory, that is called investment. This investment will lead to regular production and income. That is why it is known as a flow. Okay. Another is national income. The money value of all goods and services produced in a country in a financial year is known as national income. Okay. Then in your book, India's national income have been given at page number 38. Page number 38. You can see that according to size, India is the 7th largest country in the world. Okay, with the population of 1.2 billion is given in your book, but it is more than 1.2 billion now, 1.35 billion. It is the second most populated country in the world next to China. Okay, China is the first largest populated country, and next to China is India, but we have the largest democracy. Now here India's national income is given. Total per capita income 5,350. Okay, according to 2013 census record. And here in your book, PPP given. PPP means purchasing power parity. Okay, total per capita income is 5,350 purchasing power parity in 2013. Total domestic production was $1.877 trillion in the same year 2013. Total per capita domestic production was 1 crore. Okay, sorry, $1,498.87. Okay. Then another concept is per capita income. What? Per capita income. The per capita income of a country can be found by dividing the total national income by the total population. How can we find the per capita income? By dividing the total national income by the total population. In other words, per capita income we can say that is equal to national income by population of the country. Understood? When we divide national income by total population of the country, then we get per capita income. Okay. Then again, this is the last paragraph of your book, micro and macroeconomics. Micro or micro and macroeconomics. There are two definite methods of investigation and analysis of economic matters and problem. These two methods are micro or micro economics and macroeconomics. Some say micro, some say micro. Okay, here. And another is macroeconomics. Now what microeconomics comes from the Greek word mikros, meaning small. That means micro means small and macro means large. Microeconomics discusses the economic behavior of persons or organizations in an individual manner. The behavior of a consumer, a producer, or a productive enterprise, a market, a creditor, a saver is included in microeconomics. Those all are included in microeconomics. On the other hand, the aggregate behavior of a country or the behavior of all consumers, producers, etc. are included in the subject matter of macroeconomics. And in macroeconomics, behavior of all consumer, producers, etc. are included. The study of population, employment, industrialization, agriculture, etc. of a country is included in macroeconomics. Microeconomics is individual, whereas macroeconomics is aggregate. Okay, this chapter is finished here. So if you do not understand anything from this chapter, you can WhatsApp me, then we will discuss together. Okay, because economics, these chapters are long chapter where you have to pay very special attention while you read yourself. Okay, you will read the summary of the chapter also, summary of the chapter, and then we will discuss question answer also. Whenever your school will reopen again after this lockdown period, we will discuss summary. We will not discuss the whole book at that time. So in this lockdown period, whatever you do not understand, suppose you are studying, you are reading a paragraph, the whole chapter, and you do not understand anything, then you can WhatsApp me. Okay, after that we will discuss. Okay, then thank you.